Hello students, and welcome to the week 4 example 4 video. So in this week we will be creating this Batman inspired mask, which was last year's homework 1. So to get started, we're first just going to hide the old sketch. So you can see I already have 2 because I had to make this sketch in the class to just show the students how it worked already. So this will be the third identical sketch in this part file. So let's get started. Let's first orient ourselves properly so that we can just see what we're doing and make sure that we put our sketch on the correct plane. There we go. So in this example, you'll see I don't have the coordinate system like we are giving you in the homework now, but I'm going to put the origin in the same place I put it when I originally created this sketch. So I'm going to start over here and make the bottom of the chin start here on the origin. So I'm in my profile tool. I'm going to create the outside, and you will also notice the mask is symmetrical, which makes sense, and we're going to make use of that. So we're only going to create half of it and then mirror it. Okay, so for now I'm not too worried about actual lengths. I just want to create the rough profile. So I'm going to create that, this upward one. Then be careful. So you would see NX wants to help you by giving you, oh, do you want this constraint? Do you want these to be perpendicular? So be careful with that, because sometimes students don't pay attention for that, and then they'll put it in and then wonder why they have conflicting constraints. It's because NX already added a bunch of constraints for them that you don't want. So just, if you don't want it to be perpendicular, just move it to the side. You see here it wants to align it with that center of that line. So you can just move it off to the side where there's no constraint indicators and click. Then we have the ear coming down, and then we have the top arc. So you can see in the profile tool, if I select arc, usually it will want to go like this, being tangent, or you can just make it come out the top like this. You see here all these golden dotted lines and so on. It wants to add a bunch of constraints. I'm just trying to have it not create any of those constraints. Okay, so here it looks like it's just going to be in line with the vertical, which is fine because that's what we want. So I'm just going to click, and it didn't do that. It proceeded to make this a point on curve for this line. So I'm just going to click on that and delete it. Now I'm going to add this constraint that it said it wanted to add, making this point on curve so that this point is in the middle. Now there are 2 ways of doing the next step. So since this is symmetrical, this curve must be the same on both sides, meaning at the top here it's going to be horizontal, i.e. it's going to be perpendicular to the vertical. So you can set this to be perpendicular to the vertical, or the easier one is just to take this point and say it should be point on curve with the vertical, and that will implicitly make this be the maximum height point, or make it horizontal here. Okay, so you can see it looks a bit strange at the moment, but don't worry, we haven't added any dimensions yet, so everything will become better in a moment. We'll just move this a bit up like that. That's fine. Okay, so now let's add our first dimension. So I'm going to add the chin dimension actually. So you'll see the total length is 36, but we only want half of that, so 36 divided by 2. So as I have said previously, I'm not typing this because I can't do basic math. I'm doing this because especially if you're in a test environment, then you can be stressed, you're not thinking clearly, and then you can just bugger up basic calculations very, very easily. So rather than not do that, make sure if you get a full dimension, and it should be half, just divide it by 2. Let the computer do that math. Don't do it yourself, because stupid mistakes cost you. Okay. And you can see I started drawing it way too large. So I'm just going to add my view group very quickly and then just zoom in a bit. I'm just going to make these dimensions a bit smaller so that I can zoom in properly. There we go. That's a bit better. Okay, so I have my first dimension in here. Now my next dimension is an angular dimension. So for most of the stuff you can just use wrapper dimensions. So I'm not going to select this line. I'm going to select the horizontal axis. That is better because if I delete that line, I'm breaking a constraint. Now I'm not going to delete my coordinate system. So that one, this one, there we go. And that should be 32 degrees. There we go. Now Batman looks even weirder, but it's fine. Okay. So then we have a few dimensions for some of the inner parts. So I'm just going to ignore that for a minute and skip to the upper dimension for the ear. So we have a 96 and a 109. So upper dimensions, and now I can go either from the origin or from the horizontal. Doesn't really matter. So from there to there, I have 96. Close. Okay, so I'm just gonna zoom out a bit. There we go. And then the maximum height, so sketch origin to this point is 109. Okay, and then I'm going to do this again. There we go. This thing is slightly irritating, but it won't leave, so it is what it is. See if I hide this. Okay, cool. It's still there. Anyway, next I'm going to see, okay, I have a horizontal dimension at the top. So again, I'm going to use my coordinate system, and then I'm again not going to do the math myself. I'm going to let the computer do the math for me. Okay, and then we also have this arc which has a radius, so always be careful between radius and diameter. So a radius of 73. There we go. Okay, and then we also have the angle for the ear, which is 34 degrees. So 34 degrees. There we go. And we still have one auto dimension. So that is for this. Right, there we go. Okay. So I think this one will be specified by adding other dimensions, if I'm not mistaken. So let's continue with the sketch and see where that leads us. Okay, so first I'm going to be using offset, because I want to create that mouth part, and you will see the 6 typical that I added there, showing that it's a good idea to use your offset. So I'm going to say single curve, because I don't want to use the ones that it gives me. This one, and this one. And I want it to go to the inside, and I want it to be 6 millimeters, not 20 millimeters. Okay. So I'm going to say okay over here. And then I'm just going to add for myself 2 more lines. So so if you now look carefully to the example sketch given to you, you will see that the center point of this top arc is also the tip of the, I want to say, nose part of the mask or the cowl, because you will see the dimension it was given specifically so that you can see where the center point lies. Okay, so I'm going to then use that, go up and then go over here to this one. There we go. And now I'm just going to use the trim tool to get rid of these extra lines. Okay, so now we have an angular constraint between this and the vertical. So 45 degrees. Yes, I'm breaking my own rule, but seriously, if you can't do 90 divided by 2, yeah, then I've got questions. Okay, so we've added that one, and now we can add a few more dimensions. So that 29 dimension, so that's to the nose over here. Yes, so that's 29, and that sorted out this auto dimension that we had over here, because we defined this point for this arc, which then fully constrained this outside part. So there we go. Okay, so then we have a few dimensions for the eyes. And the eyes will also help define this part, because you will see in the note in the sketch it says that the eye inside top corner and the outside bottom corner are horizontally aligned. And then we have a dimension from the eye to the rest of the cowl, and we have dimensions for the eyes. So let's do that. I'm just going to move this angle down here so that it's out of my way. So we'll use the profile tool and then just quickly freehand the eye and try not to have too many unnecessary dimensions. So this is parallel, as you can see by the dimension saying, oh, it's 6 millimeters away. So for all of it, and then this one, don't think is actually vertical. So let's not make it vertical. If NX will allow us, there we go. This one goes a bit past and go over there. So it added a parallel constraint that I'm going to delete because it's not actually parallel. Okay, so now I can start adding some more dimensions. So I'll use the sketch origin again. And then we have a dimension to the bottom of the eye hole. So that will be, let's see, 42. And then it moved it all the way to the other side. Let's just try and put it. Ooh, see. Let's try and put it back. It's fighting with every grain of its being. Always lovely, NX, always lovely. So I'm first going to add these dimensions so that it doesn't throw it to the other side. Sometimes NX can be finicky. Okay, so from the vertical to this point is 5. Yes, 5. Okay. Then from the vertical to this point is 7.5. Then finally we have from the vertical to this point 54 divided by 2. There we go. Okay, that looks better. So now if we say this should be 42, there we go. It plays nice now. And then we have a dimension for the other side. So this one to the origin must be, let me quickly check, 46. Okay, and we said that these two must be horizontally aligned. There we go. It's kind of wonky, but not too bad. And then finally, this one my dimensions are all over the place, but that's fine. I'll clean them up just a little bit because they are bothering me a bit. So just put them nice and neatly. Oh my. Over here. That's a bit better. It's still a bit chaotic, but it's better. Okay, so now let's see. We have 2 more auto dimensions. So let's quickly see what I'm missing here. Oh, the distance between these 2. So I'm going to go to Rapid Dimensions, select these 2, and now you'll see there are multiple ways to define this height. It automatically wants to give the parallel dimension because these are already parallel, but you can select a few vertical, horizontal, point to point, perpendicular. It's defaulting to perpendicular with the inferred one because we said they are parallel to one another, so the dimension is perpendicular. So that is what we want. So I'll just put it over here, and that should be 6 millimeters. Okay, and now we just have that one dimension left. That, ooh, dear me, that's brutal. Okay, let me quickly just check what dimension I'm missing. It's that 6 millimeter from the offset. So when we move the stuff, no, it's not that one. Let me quickly check again. I almost thought it was that 6, but no, these stores are still parallel to one another by virtue of the offset. Now I realized I just looked at the sketch properly and saw that this one is in fact vertical. There we go. So if you look clearly at the sketch, you'll see it is actually vertical. The sketch is just a bit small, so I first missed that. There we go. So now it is fully constrained. So now we can just mirror it. So I'm going to leave it on connected curves. So it's selected all of them, selected all of them, selected all of them, and then my center line is the vertical. Okay, finish. And now I'm just quickly going to go to my front view. And now if I unhide this, fingers crossed, they are the same. Yes. So you can see all three of these sketches overlap perfectly. They are, yeah, all the same. So yeah, that's a very simple example 4. I hope you don't struggle with this. You really, at this point, should not be struggling in week 2 with this, especially if you have gone through all the other examples. This should really be easy. So yeah, then good luck with your homework, and yeah, remember to study for your test. Cheers.